Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired chef from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to my latest bread video. And in this one I'll be making this delicious sourdough sandwich loaf. You can view the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on the channel's website. I'll leave a link in the description under the video, or you can click on the eye icon top right of the screen to take you directly to the recipe page. Before I go any further, I'd like to give a quick shout out to this week's Patreon and PayPal donators, and they are Linda Thompson, Lisa Williams, Jutta Schneider, Gary Ross, Sherilyn Mason, Roger Bryant, Rita Rogaliski, Ryan Smith-Evans and Jim Hubbard. Thanks again guys, I really do appreciate all your support. And with that out of the way, let's get on with today's recipe. Now this recipe begins the day before making the bread, and it starts by spending 5 minutes in making up what's known as the polish or sponge. And that's made up of equal amounts of flour, water and sourdough starter. Now these measurements are very important to get right, as they are part of the overall recipe. And I'll start by adding 200 grams, that's 7 ounces in weight, of bottled or filtered water. If you use water straight from the tap, there's a good chance that the chlorine in tap water will kill off the sourdough yeast. It will at least slow it down considerably. Next, add 200 grams of your sourdough starter from the fridge. And if you haven't got a sourdough starter going yet, you can order a packet of my dried sourdough yeast and starter pack from the website. Once you get my sourdough starter going, you'll have it for the rest of your life if you looked after it properly. And if that interests you, just click the eye icon top right of your screen. That'll take you straight to the website shop. And there's even a video on the channel to help you set it up. And now back to the recipe, and like I said, add 200 grams of your sourdough starter to the 200 grams of water. Now add 7 grams of sugar, that's about 1 teaspoon. The sugar will give the sourdough a good boost. Give that a good mix before adding the 200 grams of strong white bread flour. And give that a good mix too. Make sure to scrape back all of the dough off whatever you use to mix it with, and scrape down the sides of the bowl too. Like I said earlier, these measurements are very important to the overall recipe. Right, now cover the bowl and set it aside at room temperature from anywhere between 14 to 24 hours. And to give you an idea of the temperature, my kitchen is about 22 degrees Celsius, that's around 72 Fahrenheit. Right, it's been 24 hours since I set the polish away, and it's looking very healthy, lively and bubbly, and ready to start making some fantastic sourdough bread. Now obviously you can knead this dough by hand, but I'll be using my stand mixer on this occasion, simply because my old finger joints are playing up today. But if you want to learn my kneading techniques, check out my other sandwich loaf video or the cottage loaf video. Okay, I'll start by adding the polish to the mixer bowl, and make sure you get it all. Next, add the 20 grams of vegetable oil. You can use softened butter if you prefer. And the next ingredient to add to the bowl is the strong white bread flour. Don't forget you can view the full ingredients list on the recipe page on the channel's website. And the last ingredient to add is the salt. Okay, I'll set the machine away on its slowest setting and bring the dough together. Right, the dough is just about together. I'll time it to see how long it takes before the dough reaches a smooth consistency. It normally takes around 10 to 12 minutes. Right, it's been running now for 12 minutes and the kneading process is done. Now I'll turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface and sprinkle a little flour on the dough. And before going any further, I grease a bowl with a little oil. You can use any oil really, but I have olive oil handy, so I'll be using that one. Okay, bring the dough together into a ball as shown. Okay, I'll have a quick clean up, then I'll get the dough into the bowl, ready for its first proofing. Now give it a coat of oil to prevent the top from drying out. Now cover the bowl and allow it to proof until it at least doubles in size. That normally takes about an hour, depending on the temperature of your kitchen. But bear in mind, sourdough always seems to take longer to proof than ordinary commercial yeast. So you've just got to be patient with sourdough. But remember, the longer bread dough takes to proof, the tastier the finished bread will be. Okay, while waiting for the dough to rise, I'll grease this 2 pound, that's a 900 gram loaf tin. I'm using a little lard to do mine, but you can use butter, oil or shortening if you prefer. Right, it's been 1 hour for mine, and as you can see, it's risen quite well. Now I'll turn it out onto a floured surface and form it into a fat sausage shape, then I'll get it into the loaf tin. This part is known as knocking the dough back or degassing it. For the final proof in the tin, you can do this a couple of ways. You can sprinkle a little flour on the top of the dough, cover it with a lightweight cloth and leave it in a warm, draft-free spot for about an hour. Or, my preferred way is to use this makeshift proofing box with a damp cloth on the bottom and a good fitting lid. And I simply place it in a sink of warm water with a heavy weight on top. Doing it this way, it normally takes about 30 to 45 minutes to rise. And you want it so it's about 4 centimeters, that's 1.5 inches above the top of the tin. When there's only about 10 minutes left on the rise, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, that's 356 degrees Fahrenheit or gas mark 4. I'm setting mine to 160 Celsius as my oven is fan assisted and it runs about 20 degrees Celsius hotter than indicated on the dial. Right, it's been in a box for 45 minutes and as you can see once more, it's risen very nicely. And before it goes into the oven, I'll sprinkle a little flour on the top of the loaf. This just gives it a more professional look when it's done. Right, I'll get it into the oven. I've also placed a small pan of hot water on the bottom shelf of the oven, and that's where that blast of steam come from. And this will make the top of the loaf a lot crispier. Now set the timer for 30 minutes. And while that's cooking, I hope you don't mind if I give my very first recipe book a bit of a plug. The book has lots of our favourite recipes from our work kitchens in it, and is available in the channel's website shop, along with loads of other equipment I use in the videos. It's just another way you can support the channel. I'll leave a link in the description box below the video, or just click on the eye icon top right of your screen if you want to order a copy today. Once the time's up, take it out of the oven and remove it from the tin. Now I like to get it back into the oven for a further 5 minutes to brown off and crisp up the sides a bit more. And once that 5 minutes is up, I'll get it onto a wire rack and allow it to cool for 30 minutes or so, before letting you see what it's like on the inside, and of course have a little taste. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes because I can't wait any longer. The smell is driving me mad. And just listen to how crispy that is. That's the steam from the pan of water in the oven that's created that crispness in the crust. And as you can see, it's got a lovely soft crumb inside. And that's why this bread is ideal for sandwiches and toast. Now I'll try some of my homemade butter on a piece. And listen to that crunch, and it tastes absolutely gorgeous. I think sourdough has much more flavour than commercial yeast breads. In fact, I don't think it, I know it. And without a shred of doubt, this gets a big thumbs up. And once again, please consider supporting my Patreon appeal for as little as $2 per month. Or if you prefer, you can make a one-off small donation using my PayPal page. It really does go a long way towards ingredients and production costs, as every penny pledged goes back into my videos. And whether you've donated or not, thanks again for your wonderful support in watching the channel. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in the kitchen and bye for now.